might have to let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop.
And welcome into the JUCO Rush. I'm Mike Frazier of JUCO Weekly. He's Robert Williamson. No, he's not unlucky, folks. He just looks that way, of Jock, Jive. Robert, Happy New Year, my man. How's the year going so far?
Hey, man, I cannot complain. Did you know you probably don't have snow on Tuesday in Chicago? We've got snow Tuesday here in Alabama, believe it or not.
Man, oh man, that far south it made it, huh?
Yep.
Man,
So,
man. City
that
shut
shuts
down.
the world down when, a flake or two falls. So we got something to focus on. That is a lot of football, despite the fact the season is over.
Yeah, it is. And, of course, Hutchinson wins the national championship. Everybody knows that by now. Great football game. They come from 17-7 down to win it down there in West Texas out in Amarillo. So, man, Drew Dallas right up there with Scott Strohmeyer, Buddy Stevens, Mark Duda at Lackawanna. These are guys that are just Hall of Famers when it comes to winning football games. And, I saw Buddy down there. Buddy made the trip. They inducted him into the Hall of Fame down in Amarillo, Texas. So it was good. It was a short visit, but nevertheless, a quality one with the Hall of Famer Buddy Stevens of East Mississippi.
Man, that's when you know you're good. When you don't even make the game, yet you make the game. But congratulations to Buddy Stevens on being nominated and inducted, obviously. Very deserved of that honor there in East Mississippi.
Look, and Waymond Jordan Jr. wins the JUCO Weekly Trophy. He's able to beat out Hunter Deckers, the quarterback for Iowa Western, and then the linebacker, Will Cornelison of Tyler. All three great guys. I mean, just salt of the earth guys. Their coaches on top of it were great. The NJCAA was fantastic, the way they promoted it, marketed, pushed it. And the way the coaches really pushed it. Boy, Tyler did a great job at really promoting Will leading up to the event, as did Hutchinson, as did Iowa Western. So it was really, really fantastic. Got to visit with the two presidents, both at Hutchinson and at Iowa Western. So that was nice. I mean, it was good. Jake Ripple was down there. Interesting what Jake said. Big fan of the JUCO Rush. And Robert, he said, hey, look, next year, you don't have to wait to the end of the year to have us on. He said, hey, look, I don't mind jumping on periodically throughout the course of the year to talk about the ranking system. I think that is awesome. I mean, that's really to get insight. Now, he's the chair. I'm assuming he'll be the chair next year. To get insight from him on something like that in October and November leading up to the selection show, I think would be just tremendous.
Man, I love it. And you were rubbing noses with the big dogs out there in Texas. So, man, I mean, that was kind of like a who's who you ran through in the world of NJCAA football.
All solid guys out there. Jake Ripple, great guy. Got to visit with Scott Strohmeyer a little bit. Of course, Drew Dallas at Hutch and, the NJCAA staff. Man, just a terrific job, man. It was just a fun, productive, rewarding event. And to see the enthusiasm, shall we say, Robert, for both teams as they were, cheering on their guy leading up to who's going to win it. It was good to see because, look, that's what this is about. The JUCO Weekly Trophy, Robert, was designed to be another avenue, another conduit to showcase what these underdogs do. Look, I'm a firm believer that the junior college football landscape, it's the last frontier with all this NLI stuff and everything getting turned upside down. The purity of it, the grind, the hustle, the work ethic that is needed. Really, I can't think of anywhere else you can go to get and watch that type of athlete. So to be a part of promoting those guys over the last 4 months was really rewarding for me.
Well, and again, I said it prior. Let me do it one more time before we get into the first team All-Americans for the NJCAA. Kudos to you two. You came up with the idea of awarding the nation's best junior college football player this amazing trophy. It was a super idea, and I am so pissed that I didn't come up with the idea. You did, man, though, and you put it together. You put feet to action and thoughts, and kudos to you.
Well, it takes an army to do something like this. You're a part of that, as well as the NJCAA and the schools that participate, and Pepsi, proud supporters of the JUCO Rush. They understand the junior college opportunities, both academically and athletically, educationally, and the folks at down there at Allen Beverages in Gulfport put their money to their support of junior college athletics. So we are grateful to them. All right, let's take a look. I know it's somewhat old news, but let's dive into it anyway. We want to give these kids recognition. Let's take a look at the NJCAA list of the first team All-American list that came out a couple of weeks back. Robert, what jumps out at you?
Well, why don't we start with the guy who pulls the trigger on those passes and those TDs and made the offense run for Iowa Western. The first team All-American quarterback is Hunter Deckers, the former Iowa State guy who threw for better than 3,800 yards. This guy is a NFL-type quarterback. Maybe we will see him there next year, obviously, though there were different dynamics where he was concerned at Iowa Western. What a sensational year he had, and he is definitely worthy of that first team.
Oh, and the running backs as well. The JUCO Weekly Trophy winner, Waymond Jordan Jr. You see him in there, rushed for 135 yards per game on the average. The JUCO Weekly Trophy winner, 1,614 yards. That's the best since 2021 in the NJCAA rushing yard wise. Demarion Petit is tough as they come for Northwest, really just getting it done. And if you run the football, Robert, as effectively as they do, you got to have guys that open up those gaps.
Indeed, and the offensive linemen that were first teamers were Cameron Todd of Garden City. Of course, where Northwest is concerned, opening up those holes for Petit was LaParca Langston. You got Julio Madero from Navarro, from Snow, Tyler Brumfield on that offensive line. And we were talking about Hunter Deckers. He needed protection. He got it from guys like Chance Holloman.
Well, how about you look at guys like Breck Long, the tight end as well for Coffeyville, Fresh Walters catching the football. He had a nice game in that championship game as well at the wide receiver slot. So those are some of the guys on the NJCAA first team offense. How about that first team defense? What jumps out at you there, Robert?
Well, the guys that are on that front line, 4 outstanding defensive linemen and 7 Clown from Butler, Marshawn Oxley again from Hutch. You know, it's not a coincidence that we continue to see Hutch's name and Iowa Western's name where first team All-Americans are concerned, the two teams that met in the national championship. Walt Gray, the defensive lineman for the Reavers, A.J. Prim from Pearl River, another defensive lineman. And then, of course, let's get to those linebackers. You and I talked to one of the guys that was on first team All-American early in the podcast last year. What a year for the Tyler guy.
Boy, how about it? You look at what those linebackers have done this year at just getting the job done. You know, you talk about Will Cornelison led the country in tackles. You got Darian White of Tyler, another talented football player. So yeah, a lot of good guys, solid players on the defensive line. A lot of these guys have signed. Linebackers have signed. We'll talk more about that as we move in on the show. NJCAA. Let's go to. How about we go to the second team offense and see what we have there, Robert?
Well, what we got on the second team offense is the guy that threw for more touchdown passes than anybody else in the NJCAA this past season. Donovan Smith is how we knew him about, a couple of years ago now, and going by the moniker Donnie. But hey, when you throw and you toss touchdowns and lead Snow and the Badgers to wins like he does, you can be called Donovan, Donnie, whatever he wishes. and he's the second team All-American. And two, you got those running backs. One of them I've been touting all year long, Keenan Phillips and Georgia Military. And then one of your favorite guys, Trey Hall from Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Yeah, Trey Hall just did a quality year, committed recently to the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss over in Oxford. So, yeah, that'll list there some of those NJCAA second team offensive guys. Let's look at the defensive second team from the NJCAA. And there you go, Robert, another quality list.
Oh, indeed, led by the guy who is number 3 in the voting for the JUCO Weekly Trophy, Will Cornelson. Jairus Coney of Georgia Military. I really like this guy. He's another one of the linebacker standouts. And just an outstanding crew of Snow, Georgia Military, Blinn, Trinity Valley, Tyler, East Central, NIMI, and Highland, all represented by the second team All-American defense.
Yeah, they sure did. And man, you just look at that list, quality guys moving on. Again, the NJCAA provides these guys an opportunity to parlay that into a senior college or university, and a lot of these guys have done that. One guy that has done that, Robert, we talked to him, and that was Waymond Jordan Jr., the running back from Hutchinson, who had one heck of a year.
I want to talk about this guy just a second before we go into the conversation. You know, you and I chatted with him off screen, probably longer than we did on screen. This is a quality guy. I mean, he has got a level head on his shoulders. He is a guy that is constantly looking at ways to improve. You would think that this fellow who just ran for 1,600 yards, got the biggest trophy in junior college football, both individually and team-wise, would be satisfied. He's talking about rebuilding his body so it's even better in the next couple of years at Southern Cal. I am impressed with Waymond Jordan Jr., and you and I had a chance to sit down and talk with him.
Waymond Jordan Jr. joins us. He is a national champ. He's the JUCO Weekly Trophy recipient, and he recently signed to play football at the University of Southern California. Waymond, let's start there. When did you decide that you were going to go to the University of Southern California?
I think I decided Saturday night, the night before my signing. I think I had a team meeting with like my family and things like that. We weighed all the pros and cons from each school, and we just came out with Southern California being the destination for us.
That is running back you. And of course, you're used to coming from a running back school. Escambia High School, Pensacola. We've talked about this before. You got Emmett Smith, you got Trent Richardson from there. And now you're going to a school that's produced 8 Heisman Trophy winners, 5 of which were running backs. So did that play a role in deciding to go to Southern Cal? Was that 5 running back Heisman Trophy aspect influential?
Yes, sir. It had a little bit of influence on my decision, but ultimately, the decision really came down to Lincoln Riley and Coach Jones, the running back coach there, and then also really the education part, how they what they offer in their business school, because that's what I'm going to major in.
Now, I know this interview is supposed to be all about winning that JUCO Weekly Trophy and signing with Southern Cal, but I got another question, and that is, you are the Junkyard Dog. Now, tell me, where did that nickname come from?
Okay, so the nickname started when I was around about 10, 11 years old, playing basketball for my coach, Reggie Evans, who played in the NBA, and also one of his coaches under him was Coach Avery. So I grew up around those coaches, and they ended up calling me that because I played with like the older guys, and I weren't scared, and it was just like I just played like a dog. So that's what they ended up calling me, a junkyard dog.
Waymond Jordan Jr. joining us, JUCO Weekly Trophy champion. Now back to USC. I want to run this on. When you met with Lincoln Riley, what did he tell you? What did he his expectations for you in their system? What did he tell you that he could provide for you?
He expected me. He expects me to come in and be a difference maker out the as soon as I come in immediately. So he was just telling me how he planned on calling the plays for me and things like that, and really just how excited he got to even offer me and things like that. And we just was just talking and really just getting to know each other even more and more. Cause I mean, I always like Lincoln Riley, one of my dream coaches.
Yeah, you look at USC and going at who was your second? Who was a close second?
The closest second,
Yeah.
it was a tie between North Carolina and UCF.
What was it like visiting with Bill Belichick?
Everything, everything with North Carolina was great. Like from everything, so they gonna have like an NFL based program. So it's that helps you get ready for the NFL. But I think the part that got me away from North Carolina was the academic side of it and how small their business school was and how hard it was to get into the business school. And then USC being the number one business school in America, I think it came down to an academic decision with those two.
The JUCO Weekly Trophy, Waymond. That night, you were the winner of it. There you go with the executive director and CEO of the National Junior College Athletic Association, Chris Parker. When your name was announced, I know it's an exhilarating feeling, but what was racing through your mind? I saw you immediately hug your family.
It just felt like a lot of emotions just went through my body, and like I felt good, but it was just like it felt like relaxing, like my hard work really paid off, and like I received something for the hard work that I put in that nobody else seen but my teammates and my coaches. So it felt really good to even win it, but it was amazing to even be up for it, even if I didn't win it.
Hey, before I swing it back to Robert, there's a great shot in the post of that trophy with you and your offensive line. You were very adamant about making sure that you recognized your offensive line, not only in the stories leading up. There it is. Look at that shot. Look at those guys. Open up those holes for you all here, huh? What a
Yes, sir.
photo, man. What a photo.
Yes, sir. I love all of them.
Who are some of those guys? Who's the guy right to your left, right there with the arms folded to your left?
The arms folded to my left. That's Mason. That's our starting center.
There you go. And then who are the two guys immediately to your right, man? Those two cats right there.
Okay, that's Rashad and that's Tyson. Rashad plays guard and Tyson plays center also.
What a shot, Robert.
Hey man, what a crew! And obviously, they created some huge holes for you, but you do a lot of it on your own. And one of the things that I've noticed over the course of the year that you talk about is making sure that not only are you mentally ready for a football game, but you put a lot of emphasis on body, being ready to take on the role of a brute force meeting every Saturday or Thursday, whatever the case might be. So, can you, in a nutshell, kind of bring us through a regimen that you go through to make sure that the body prior to a ball game is ready to take on those blows?
Okay, so when the season started, so Sunday is my start day. So Sunday, a lot of recovery, ice, everything like that to start the week off right. Monday, I had classes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, I'll go lift after class, go to treatment, and then I will go to the YMCA to go get in the hot tub in the steam room. Tuesday and Thursdays I didn't have class. So those were the days I'll wake up early, get another lift, like a workout in on my own, then I'll also go to the YMCA after practice. Wednesdays, I'll come back. We have a team lift after practice, so I wasn't really worried about lifting on my own. I'll take a break on my own and lift with the team and probably do an ice bath before the lift right after practice. Thursdays, I'm back to practicing, going to the YMCA, and I'm also, since I don't have class, I'll take an ice bath that morning. And then Friday we have the walkthroughs, and I had class, so I'll take another ice bath after our walkthroughs, and then I'm ready for the game on Saturday.
Hey,
And you bore me out.
before we let you go, show us that trophy, will you? I know you got it right next to you.
Oh yeah.
There it is, the JUCO Weekly Trophy. Waymond Jordan Jr., man, you are the winner of the JUCO Weekly Trophy. Heck of a year. We're ecstatic for you, and we're looking forward to watching you late nights, man. That's even better, man, for us, getting to watch you late night on Saturday nights playing out in SoCal. So
Yes,
congratulations,
sir.
my man, and we'll stay in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Special thanks again to Waymond Jordan Jr. of Hutchinson Community College. Congratulations, Waymond. It was terrific to meet you, your family, and man, really happy for you. We wish you well. And like we were talking about, Robert, looking forward to watching those late night games out in SoCal as he's playing at the University of Southern California.
Man, that's a running back I mean, they got 5 Heisman Trophy winners that were running backs. And then, of course, he comes from Escambia High, had running backs galore. I mean, his ancestry from a school running back perspective is very, very good.
And all three guys were solid, man. I mean, they were just terrific guys. Will had a great visit with him and his family afterward. Had a terrific conversation with them. And Hunter Deckers was terrific. We wish him well as he's ready to get into the National Football League. So congratulations to those three guys, the three finalists for the JUCO Weekly Trophy, with Waymond Jordan Jr. winning it. Okay, now let's go to the JUCO Rush first team offense. I've got my list. Robert has his. Here's my first team offense. There you see my list right there. I mixed it up a little bit. Of course, Waymond Jordan Jr. and Hunter Deckers, no doubt about it. I like Trey Hall. I just like his numbers. What jumps out at me: 10 games, rushed for about 1,100 yards on just 149 carries, averaged about 110 yards a game. Committed to Ole Miss. Just a solid running back, and I think he was victimized based on how deep that team was. So, they didn't run it to him that much at certain points of the game, and they were able to rest him to have that body ready to go for the postseason. Another guy I like is Devon Martin at Trinity Valley. He's an SMU commit, 6'5", 240 at that tight end slot. LaParca Langston on that offensive line, just a stud, 6'8", 310, three-star guy, committed to the University of Central Florida. And then I'll throw in one more. Let's go with the Cameron Craig Hutchinson, 6'6", 325 pounds. He is a three-star guy, and he is on his way to the University of Arkansas. Those are just there's my list of my JUCO Rush first team offense, Robert.
With we're fairly similar in our first team offense, but I'm keeping Petit, who was an NJCAA first team All-American, as a first teamer on my list as well. Had a great year for Northwest Mississippi, rushed for about 1,200 yards over the course of the season. I think he is deserving of that spot. Trey Hall, can't take anything away from him, though. Great season as well for Mississippi Gulf Coast. I've got one difference from the NJCAA in a receiver spot. I'm moving their two-team guy to my one team, and that is Reggie Freshnick of Snow. This guy caught more touchdown passes than anybody else this year. I think he is worthy of first-team status versus second-team status. And, of course, who could argue with Fresh Walters as a first-team or wide receiver? 75 grams, that's more than anybody else this year.
No doubt about it. Reggie was just a gem for Snow College. All right, my defensive guys. How about the freshman out of Butler, Seven Cloud, defensive lineman, 6'4", 300 pounds. He earlier said he's coming back to play at Butler next year. That is big news for the KJCCC as they bring Seven Cloud back in there. Xavion Hardy, 4-star guy at Rivals, 3-star guy at 247, just a bull rushing guy, just a guy that is so strong going to South Carolina. And then, hey, how about Perry Cole, Trinity Valley, 6'3", 290, 3-star guy. He's going to TCU. And then, so many guys to talk about. Ishmael Conte of Iowa Central, 6'2", 225. He's going to the University of Illinois. What a year he had. Those are, and you see the rest of my first team JUCO Rush defensive guys.
And just point out the differences, I guess, where my list as compared to the NJCAA list is concerned, where the first team defense is concerned. I like Will Cornelson as a first teamer. I know he's listed as a second team guy for the NJCAA, but when you're one of the top three for the JUCO Weekly Trophy, that makes you the number one defender for that particular trophy. I think you deserve number one team status. So I've got him on my first team. I like Jarvis Coney of Georgia Military College on the first team. Georgia Military, outside of their kicker, was not represented on the first team, yet they were the number two team in the country. I think Jarvis Coney is deserving of that. In the DBs, Dan Dangerous Giles, we talked about him all year long from Holmes, 4 picks, 4 touchdowns. And in my defensive secondary, I want guys that pick off passes. And that's what Raiden Afifong did for New Mexico Military. And I may have mispronounced his name, but he didn't do anything wrong with picking off passes to the tune of 8 this year. So those are the guys with highlights of a few on my first team on defense.
Then my DBs, man, Keshawn Develop, just a stud. Northwest, committed to Arkansas, 3-star guy. Jalen Webb out of Kilgore, 3-star guy going to Boise State. Sam Brooks, we talked about him, Dodge City, going to Boise State. Lamadrick Spencer, the Hutchinson defensive back, 6'1", 175, 3-star guy going to Southern or going to SMU. So, yeah, I mean, just a plethora of talent. This is just a partial list. These are some guys that are undecided, Robert, guys that have yet to make a decision. Now, we just got some information here recently, so we got a couple of updates on this board.
And one of those updates is the guy on the second team, All-American offense, my first team. And we're just talking about him, 11 grabs. That is Reggie Freshnick, who is staying in the state of Utah, but going from Snow to Weber State. So congratulations to Reggie. Really, congratulations to Weber State, because they have gotten one heck of a receiver.
That's right. He committed to Weber State. And then Tim Burns just came out recently, fresh news that he has signed with Sam Houston State. You just look at some of these guys on this list that are looking to determine where they want to go. And the list is long and distinguished. Christian Bundra of Lackawanna. These guys will probably wait till February to sign. But there's a list of just some of the guys on both sides of the football. And as we inch closer toward that first Wednesday in February, Robert, we're going to do a comprehensive breakdown of the undecideds, and then also start figuring out after February, these teams that are reloading at the JUCO level, what did they pull in? So, that's the name of the game at the JUCO level. And
now with the portal, you've got another, I guess you would call it, road by which to travel to bring in talent. So that brings in that variable that makes it very interesting as to who goes where and why they go where.
That's right. And on that undecided list, that's just a partial list right there that you see on the board. There's a bunch of other guys. We'll have that next week. We'll have that full list up there as we try to confirm some things with some of these players, man. But man, you look at just the talent that is across the board here. It's just phenomenal.
And on the defensive side, a fellow I was just talking about a moment ago, you got Jarvis Coney, who is undecided. Yeah. And he's going somewhere, and they're going to have a great linebacker in Coney. Or how about another one of those NIMI DBs, that being Stilton McKelvey? He had a great year. He's undecided as to where he will play next year. Yeah. Others, too.
Yeah, Marshawn Oxley of Hutchinson, another one you see on the board there. Tavion Atkinson was one of the top guys in the sack category for Trinity Valley. So let's see what happens with him. So yeah, a lot to cover, Robert, here on the JUCO Rush as we move forward. You can follow us also now on our social media platforms as well.
That's right. Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram. And can I put a plug in for our producer? Blake, what's your last name? It's hard to pronounce. Grab it. Okay, that's not hard to pronounce. It just looks hard to pronounce. But Blake doing a great job producing the show. I know we've been off a few weeks, maybe even closer to a month because of the holidays, but the JUCO Rush is back.
Yeah, we're back weekly from now until the start of football season. This is around the year around the clock show we're doing, and we're going to increase the coverage of the JUCO Rush as we get closer to the football season, and we'll tell you more about that as we move forward. Robert, man, I'm telling you, signing day is coming up, first Wednesday in February, just a couple of weeks away, my man. Let's see what these coaches pull in. You know, what does Tyler do to set the stage with the linebackers and defensive guys up front they lost? What's Strohmeyer going to do about a quarterback? How about Drew? Look at all the guys he's lost: quarterback, running back, defensive line, offensive line. Buddy Stevens at East Mississippi. You know, these are all Hall of Famers, man. You know they're going to reload. Let's see what they come up with, huh?
I think you hit it right on the head. They're going to reload. They've done it. They got a history of reloading. I would not be surprised at all if Hutch, if Iowa Western, if East Mississippi, if Georgia Military, if Northwest Mississippi, those teams that we mentioned last year aren't right back in the thick of things this year.
Jack Wright at Gulf Coast. How about the Texas League, huh? I mean, look at that league down there with all the talent down there from Kilgore all the way up the board, from Tyler across in Nimi, another product that has put out great talent. So we look forward to talking to you folks next week. Robert, always good to see you.
You as well.
That'll do it for the JUCO Rush. For Robert Williamson, our producer and engineer, Blake Gravitt, I'm Mike Frazier saying so long, everybody.